My name is Mark Nickita. I'm an architect and urban designer, and I work in downtown Detroit in a firm that I co-founded many years ago called Archive Design Studio, often referred to as Archive DS. And we specialize in urban design and architecture in an urban context, mostly oriented around pedestrian, walkable communities, neighborhoods, districts, downtowns, that kind of thing. We're interested in studying cities around the country and around the world and finding things that work well and learn from them. We also study things that don't work well and learn from those as well. And then we apply that to projects that we work on, wherever it is that we happen to do projects. We've been to over 350 cities around the world, mostly in the North America, Europe, and Asia. And it's brought us to some very interesting cities that have given us some great distinctive insights into the way different cultures and cities do things. Census came out on Detroit's loss of 25% population over the last 10 years. It wasn't a big shock, I think, to most of us who have been paying attention, because we've been recognizing the trends and the way things have been going, and there's clearly movements in the city and in the region and the state that are pretty evident. Anybody's paying attention, and in the city we're seeing. I like to look at the fact that surely there have been people moving out of the city, but at the same time there's a whole sector of people moving into the city, and as much as there's parts of the population of the areas of Detroit where you can see loss. You can identify particular districts and areas where there have been definitive gains in population, or at least very strong stabilization. So when people look at the numbers and just see the drop in population, and they look at the percentage drop, they're really failing to recognize that there are areas of growth and activity and life, in strong life, and now a city is really a region. It really no longer is a city proper. So when you say Detroit or Cleveland or Chicago or Philadelphia or Dallas or what have you, you're really referring to the region overall. And that's I think a significant thing to think about, because we often, if not almost always, latch on to the city proper only and don't really talk about regions. But more and more, there are more people recognizing the value and the importance of a region, because we do work as a unit. So that pushes our population up into the 5 million, near 6 million as a region, which is quite significant. That's that's around the size of many small countries like Denmark, for example. So when you look at it in that perspective, it changes the way that you look at the importance of the city and how you think about it. One of the things about thinking about the census in that regard is that Detroit may have lost 25%, but again, it's all about how you frame the perspective of that. The region only lost a little over 2%. So when you think about Detroit really losing population, yes, the city proper lost a significant amount of people, but they largely just sort of moved into other parts of the region. So the region is relatively the same. It's a problem with urban America. It's a problem with maybe the Midwest. It's a problem with recognizing the values of cities versus suburbs. There are a number of different things you can look at it, but it's not a Detroit problem as much as it is a problem in a lot of American cities. We may have it a little bit more acute. We understand that we have problems that may go beyond many other cities, but at the same time, I think because of our significance in the early part of the last century, we actually have assets that many other cities don't have as well. So maybe that weighs out in one way or the other, and it becomes a bit of a pro and a con, if you will, and then you gauge it as you need to, and then move forward with it.